Hey guys, Mike here from the Swing Factory, and today is actually my day one of getting ready for the season. And my day one generally looks like this. I find a facility, get some balls, I get a plate, and I get a tee, and start hitting balls. Now, I just don't go off and just hit balls all the entire time. I need to work on the form and the swing process from step by step by step. And so I'm going to walk you through that today. So the first thing I like to do is get the hips because everything starts from the bottom up. Now, I will say this, and I'll say this at every privates I do, is that when you set up to the plate, you need to set up every single time. Doesn't matter, the tee can move, the plate does not. So I want you to, when you're setting up, I want you to set up where you normally would at the plate. I like to set up here. This way I know that where I'm comfortable. First my load, my step, and just driving the hips. So I'm not going to hit it that way because I don't want it to go chasing balls. So I'm going to hit it in this direction. And my whole idea is I just want to work from here. Step. We're good. Literally the first hit. And I'm just going to do this a bunch of times. And the idea here is I want the explosion to drive from my hips. Because that's where the power starts. The power starts from your feet, goes all the way up into your hands, and transfers to the bat. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's all practice. You can't be perfect. Once you get a few of those, then you can move on. I'm going to take a couple more. I want to make sure I'm hitting them nice and solid. Sounded pretty good. Next thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to separate my legs from my upper body. And so getting into a one knee stance with this leg out mimics the part where you step, you drive that hip, and now you're throwing your hands. So the whole idea is I want to try to drive that elbow down along his side and push. So I'm going to imitate that being here. Start off slow, not 100% power, and you work your way up. Now you also notice the ball is in line with where my foot is here, just roughly about where I'm going to end up making contact. Now, when I'm doing this, it is a bit of a downstroke where I'm trying to cut the ball. I'm not thinking about hammering it down. I'm not necessarily thinking about chopping down on it. But what I am thinking about is an axe. If you ever chopped wood, you're thinking about chopping down like an axe, except for I'm changing the plane. The other thing, kind of pro tip too, line up your ball every time so you're aiming for the stitches. Usually the bottom third is where I leave it. Hey, once got that, I'm all warmed up. I get my tea ready. I typically set it up high. I highly recommend finding yourself a tee that goes 53, 54 inches because you'll want that. People say that's too high. I disagree because you want to be able to see and move it around. So if I'm standing here, this is a perfect pitch for the back part of the plate, which where I'm standing, I want to protect. So here, I'm just going to focus actually hitting down at the ball. I'm not trying to do anything special. I'm just getting strokes in. But I'm also want to not lose the form of the step, drive, hand. And again, you're going to make mistakes. Making mistakes is the biggest part of this game, especially in practice. If you do it in practice and you make mistakes, you want to feel what you did. And so you got to pay attention to what you're doing and be very aware. So feel what I did. I know I came down early, below the ball. That's what I'm looking for. Now I just came back from an injury, so I'm not swinging too hard. But you shouldn't do that in practice. You just want to make contact 20%. And start working on that power. You've done that, you're working on the power, hit harder, harder, and harder. This is when, once I'm comfortable, once I feel good, the next thing I'll do is start moving the tee back, move it off to the side. So if I want to practice oppo taco shots, I'll pull it in, I'll drop it down a little bit more, pretend the angle is going to be the back corner of that. And of course, I want to protect it. So I'm going to step in and aim that way. Or if you want to work on pull shots, you don't want to work on pull shots where you're like this, having to throw your hands on the inside. So I typically if I have a pull shot, I want to protect the inside of that plate. I'm going to make sure to get at that ball early so I can send a pull shot. I love the tee. I love the tee for all of my batting practice because the tee is going to give you the most consistent pitch you'll ever see outside of an actual pitching machine and allows you to work on all aspects of the pitch. The one thing it obviously doesn't work on is the timing from the release, and that's where live BP, along with your eyes as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again soon.